in that dance. When I remember
Folk Festival attendance over the weekend was nearly 37,000, a new record. But what will happen next year? The Pan Am Games will be on during the last week of July and the first week of August. That means 3 major events, the Fringe, the Folk Festival, and Folklorama will all overlap during one weekend next summer, July 10th and 11th. Folklorama will take place 3 weeks earlier, so that it won't be on at the same time as the Pan Am Games.
One of the things that we looked at was the volunteers. We have over 20,000 volunteers. A lot of those volunteers want to volunteer for Pan Am and be involved in the games as well.
The Fringe Festival is just getting set up for this year's edition. Next year, it will take place 2 weeks earlier. Festival organizers are wondering if they'll be competing for things like microphones and lighting equipment, even portable toilets.
We use a lot of porta potties, and I think they're going to be in high demand. I think we're going to be importing porta potties from all across North America next year for various events.
Again, I think it'll be up to us to plan very carefully and to communicate these plans with other organizations and make sure that we're all doing this together, and possibly joint negotiations with suppliers.
The big question is, will the festivals have to compete for audiences? The organizers say there may be an advantage to running at the same time. They can look at marketing the festivals as a package to tourists. Virilyn Kubanek, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Nobody likes to... Companies from around the world participating in this year's Fringe Festival. We thought we would help you get a head start on what you'll see. The Fringe kicks off this Friday with 16 different venues. We head to Venue 5 for a peek at Godsookers.
Sir, Richard Tater Industries has suffered a downturn in sales for the last 6 quarters. Therefore,
our period forecast was not realized.
However, our Department of Marketing and Research is hard at work reevaluating our psycho and demographics.
So is this your first Fringe?
It is, yeah, and I'm very excited because I've undertaken a big project, but I've got great support from my troupe and family and friends, so I'm really excited.
The atheists are facing bankruptcy.
And they've even been at the advantage as they don't have any holidays.
The Buddhists are starting to look at their bleak future.
The agnostics aren't even unionized.
And they're on the brink of failure.
You name it, sir. The Catholics, the Jews, the Protestants,
the
Hindus.
priests, the rabbis, we're all in the same boat, and it's going down.
It's when the executives are going in to tell Richard Tater about how sales are going down. And when sales of religion and non-religion go down, it means people are on the verge of asking questions which could result in a revolution.
Okay, where'd you come up with this idea?
By living in this world. And it just popped into my head, and I thought, let's write about it.
Well, the moment is yours. Why should people come and see your play, Godsookers?
Well, I'm not going to hold a gun to their head. They should come see it because it's the cheapest play at the Fringe. It's only $4. $4? $4. Actually, I just want people to come, and I want them to start asking questions. I want to create a little revolution.
And we continue with our look at the Fringe pre-look. We just saw Godsookers, which is Venue 5, which is behind, actually in the same building that the MTC. Venue 6 itself is the MTC warehouse, and we're going to give you a sneak peek at this called We Can't Tell You. All right, a bright room called Day.
The end of a very long and painful struggle. You aren't amusing thoughts. You're straining too desperately for effect. Sometimes... What? Sometimes I could strike you.
It was written by Tony Kushner, writer of Angels in America. This play is set on New Year's Eve of 1931 in Berlin. It is about the Nazi and Hitler uprising. This scene, basically, what has happened politically is everything is starting to unravel, and Hitler is coming into power, and this group of people that the play is about, artists, friends, a group of friends, they have come to realize that things are just falling apart and they're losing hope, and they're not having a very nice evening.
And we're going to give you more sneak peeks of the Fringe. Of course, it starts on Friday. That is the program you can pick up, and advance tickets went on sale today. Call 94-FRINGE. Before we go,
Theater is more your style. Get ready for 10 days of non-stop entertainment at the Fringe Festival. The Old Market Square is being transformed for the 11th annual Fringe Theater event. This year, the festival spreads out across the Exchange District and downtown with 16 venues, the most ever. To accommodate more than 100 theater companies, also a new record. 87,000 tickets were sold during last year's Fringe Festival. Organizers are hoping to close in on 100,000 this year. The event kicks off tomorrow at 7 with a free-for-all in the Old Market Square.
Alex Michaels with the senior look at entertainment. Well, the Fringe Festival kicks off tomorrow at various venues. And Venue 6, which is the MTC warehouse, you can catch a very on the fringe kind of play. It's put on by the Irmas de Tempo, which is a theater company from Brazil. The play is called Sisters of the Seasons. Have a look.
Where have you been?
Killing pig! We are from Brazil.
Yeah.
And what we do? We are telling a story about the witches.
Yes. From Macbeth. From Macbeth. And we have been to Toronto, the Fringe of Toronto, and Sudbury, and now we are in Winnipeg to finish with the Gold Key.
And you do the whole show in English?
Well,
no.
We're speaking all the languages. French, English, Portuguese, Spanish.
Well, it's like 75% in English, and then we speak some Portuguese and some other things in other languages, but it's mainly English now. We took many translations from Macbeth in French and in Portuguese and the original English, so this is an original idea that we had.
And remember, the new issue of Connect is in stands now. It's absolutely free, and you can see the scene inside. That is the scene for now. Kim, back to you.
Movies. But first, it's Fringe Festival time again, and after record-breaking attendance last year, don't expect too many big changes. Last year's 10th anniversary festival drew an all-time high 42,400 Fringe lovers. The final setup was being finished today in preparation for tomorrow's opening of the 10-day event. Performers from 5 continents have assembled in Winnipeg and will perform 105 shows at venues all over the city. The Fringe Festival offers everything from hilarious comedy to solo dramatic performances. Our CKY5 cameras were able to catch a piece of a rehearsal last night by a young actress named Valerie Wynn. Now, this play is at Venue 8, which is upstairs at Mother Tucker's. It's called Leni Riefenstahl, Artist Defiled.
Where to start? Our time is short, but I must start at the beginning. My given name is Helene, but I've always been called Lenny. My mother recognized my love for the arts immediately. My father was resistant. This created conflict in the home and much hurt for me as a child.
Now this, if you love movies.
Rumors. Well, with over 100 theater companies from around the world taking part at this year's Fringe Festival, you might need a little help in choosing what you want to see. So let's give you another pre-Fringe look. This time it's of the Winnipeg group Front Row Fish, whose show is called Betrayal.
What are you saying? That now you're all of a sudden all for this collaboration?
I'm not sure I was ever completely against it.
What?
I mean, sure, I was with you on the entire thing about how we needed a vision and some directing, but now it's starting to go where we want it to go. I think we should just stick with it now.
It's actually an experimental kind of improv-based thing, based on it's based on Harold Pinter's Betrayal. So it's loosely based. So that's kind of a starting point. So if you know about that, that helps. But I mean, it's not necessary.
Yeah, for me, Eric has a point. If it's implied that you guys had sex, it would add some tension to the scene.
It's 100% experimental. We don't even know how it's going to go every night. Matter of fact, right now we don't. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's been fun doing it, and everyone should come out and enjoy themselves.
I think we all get a say on this. This affects the play. It should be a group decision.
Exactly.
No. You guys just want to see me naked, and there's no reason in Scene 5, there's nothing in the text that even suggests nudity.
There it is.
people that have never fringed before. Tell us about tickets and passes and all that sort of stuff.
First of all, if you've never fringed before, you've got to get a program.
Okay.
Programs are available at any liquor mart, Safeway, McNally Robinson, and at the outdoor site.
Okay.
There you'll get everything you need to know. But right now you can call 94-FRINGE and order advance tickets by phone.
Okay.
They're available today.
Okay.
Or you can come to 100 Arthur Street and get tickets there.
Well, that's how you can get tickets, and if you want some tickets for the Fringe Festival, I have a pair to give away to see the comedy troupe The Spleen Jockeys, who are performing Jockey Night in Canada. You gotta love that title, at the Fringe, starting on Saturday, Venue 8, which is the Macaroni Bar in Mother Tucker's. We're gonna take caller number 5, 956-1630. We'll make it easy on you. Just leave your name and your phone number, and we will call you back if you are the winner. Well, sad news.
If live theater is more your style, get ready for 10 days of non-stop entertainment at the Fringe Festival. The Old Market Square is being transformed for the 11th annual Fringe Theater event. This year, the festival spreads out across the Exchange District and downtown with 16 venues, the most ever, to accommodate more than 100 theater companies, also a new record. 87,000 tickets were sold during last year's Fringe Festival. Organizers are hoping to close in on 100,000 this year. The event kicks off tomorrow at 7 o'clock with a free-for-all in Old Market Square. Provincial parks are celebrating the 9th annual
It's the day many theater buffs have waited for. The Winnipeg Fringe Festival opens tomorrow. Theater groups from around the world will take up residence in the Exchange District for the next 10 days. And with more than 100 plays to choose from, picking the best can be a bit of a gamble. That's why Robert Enright and Janet Dirks are here to give us some guidance. They join us from Fringe Central in Market Square.
Now, there aren't a lot of people here right now, but in about 24 hours from now, this place is going to have thousands of people running to all 10 of the indoor venues and watching, some 104 or 105 theater companies from all over the place. This, by the way, is the second largest Fringe Festival in the entire world. Edmonton only is larger and older, so this is a pretty significant event, and the range of stuff is pretty wild, I gather.
It is. In fact, I think the Fringe is known for putting some pretty irreverent theater out there. Some off-the-wall theater, some edgy theater, and sometimes that's a euphemism for theater that includes coarse language and nudity. But there are actually shows this year where you can take your grandmother or your children to, and you won't be embarrassed. There are 34 children's shows in all. Now, there's one called A Silent Act by the Winnipeg company Mabel Normand. This show is done in the style of silent movies. It's complete with a live piano accompaniment. There's physical comedy here, pratfalls, and slapstick. And that silent act, it's one of the shows that's appropriate for families at the Fringe Festival. This one is at Venue 6, the Warehouse Theatre.
Well, a family slapstick's one thing, but as Janet said, there are some plays here that are pretty tough. One of the ones that I think is going to turn out to be most controversial is a play about the Nazis. It's one of 3 plays, Janet, this year that deal with that theme, and 2 of them actually are written by John Ted Wynne. One is the play about Leni Riefenstahl, the documentarian for Hitler, and the other one is this play called Annus Mundi, which deals with the commandant who's in love with a young woman.
Well, if you can call that love, actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty creepy play in some ways, it looks like. Here's a scene from it. It's on, by the way, at Venue 3, the Chinese Cultural Center.
That dress is very dull. I thought you were a seamstress. Why didn't you ask for something warm and attractive?
It never occurred to me, Herr Commandant.
It never occurred to you?
Not here. I've worn this dress for some time now. It's faded quite a bit.
Yes, I can see that. What else?
Herr Commandant?
What else are you wearing underneath your dress?
No, Robert and I have not seen the whole play yet, Annus Mundi, but we're going to do that this weekend. But as you can tell, it's disturbing subject matter.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now, one of the most popular theater groups that is coming back to the Winnipeg Fringe this year is the English Suitcase Company. And it's popular for good reason, because every year they put out edgy and interesting and really compelling theater.
Yeah, they're fabulous acting. It's really one of the best companies that's ever come here, I think.
I agree. And this year it looks quite interesting. They're doing a retelling of the Oedipus myth, and this play is called Greek, and they're doing it in whiteface. So let's take a look.
No, Mum, I've had 6 slices already.
Oh, well, that's the
some more.
I don't want no more, you rancid old booze. Hey! I'd spray affectionately.
Oh, we don't hurt my game.
She'd simper. All right, bung us another slice and I'll wedge it down with a mug of tea to slop it up a bit.
Bung us the toast.
Where's the jam?
Pig or Tina?
She gazes on us with moist eyes. On all of us slurping like fat pigs in a trough.
The English Suitcase Company with a scene from Greek, and it's not a family show unless you're a member of the Manson family. This show does come with a language warning because the language is pretty coarse.
Of course, that was the nicest, gentlest family scene we could find from the play to run, so it's pretty intriguing. I'm sure it's going to sell extremely well. You know, there are lots of things going on that are kind of visually innovative too at this festival, not just traditional theater, although the piece I'm going to tell you about has a tradition that probably goes back thousands of years. It's shadow puppetry, in which the one woman doing the play, you never really see her, you only see her shadow and all the puppets she's got. They're a group from Toronto called Theatre Folk, and it looks to be visually an intriguing, lovely little play. Here's a scene from it.
The gymnastics instructor stood up in front of everyone and said that I had no center of gravity. It makes for a convenient excuse, though, when I get my cuff caught on doorknobs or trip over gum wrappers. No center of gravity. I think my mother was disappointed, though. She wanted a graceful ballerina gymnast girl.
That place called Flashbacks, it's at Venue 9, which is the old Big 4 building just over here behind us. Looks to me like it's pretty good. I'm quite looking forward to seeing that one.
Well, lots of shows to see, and I think the best way to do it is to get one of these programs. For $5, you can pick one up across the city, and it really helps to organize yourself. There are show prices and times. Without it, I don't think you can do a good job of fringing.
In fact, I don't think you can do it at all, because if you don't know where you're going, you're in real trouble. If you ever turn up late for a play, you don't have a chance, not a chance of getting into it. They're really quite categorical about that, so you have to know where you're going. Now, you and I are going to be crossing paths 10, 15 times a day over the next week, I think?
That's right. Now, in fact, a week from today, we're going to give you our best top 10 list, the best shows of the Fringe according to Enright and Dirks.
And by the time we do that, we will have seen at least 60 plays between the two of us, so we'll be relatively reliable by that time, right?
Oh, I think we'll have a good taste of the Fringe.
So how are you going to keep up your energy, though? I mean, after 14 hours in the dark every day, it gets to be pretty deadly.
I guess a power bar or two.
Anyway, happy fringing, and we'll talk to you very soon.
If you'd like to take in the Fringe, you can get tickets at Old Market Square. Prices range from $2 to $8. Your best bet is to purchase them in advance. You can also buy a frequent Fringer pass for $50, and that's good for 10 shows.
Just putting the finishing touches on the kiosk area here at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival in Old Market Square. Opening ceremony, 7 o'clock. Going to be a good weekend for fringing, the first weekend of the Fringe Festival. And it's going to be a good night for Bomber football as well. We'll be back with full weather details, but right now let's go out live to the stadium where Carlos Machado is standing by, and a must-win situation for Blue and Bold. It's away from the opening ceremonies for the 11th annual Winnipeg Fringe Festival, by far one of the hottest fringes across North America. You can see people just starting to file in. Everything's getting set up. 7 o'clock opening ceremonies. Looks like it's going to be a decent night for the opening ceremonies of the Fringe Festival here in Old Market Square, and it looks like it's going to be a great weekend for the first weekend of the Fringe. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight and Fringe Festival, which gets underway tonight here in Old Market Square. 10 days of fun for everyone, literally something for everyone. Now, Lisa Best is away tonight, so allow me to give you an opportunity to go see Meredith Wilson's Music Man out at Rainbow Stage. 780-1234, the number to call. I got 2 pairs of tickets to give away, the good seats to Rainbow Stage and the Music Man. That's it for weather. Come on down to the Fringe. Have a great weekend, whatever you do. Let's go back to the studio now. John Loveland has Nightlife tonight.
As Curtis said, Lisa is in Los Angeles, so we'll be back with Nightlife right after this. Of Theater on the Edge gets underway in about 35 minutes at the 11th Annual Fringe Festival. Global's Lisa Best has a preview of some of the productions put on by local theater companies.
With over 100 theater troupes from 5 continents performing at 16 venues here in the Old Market Square area over the next 10 days, luck has nothing to do with the Fringe. You were never meant to see it all. You will, however, see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You will be entertained and turned off, and you will have an experience, and that is what the Fringe is all about. Now, since a journey begins with the first step, we decided to stay local for you. Here's what some of the troupes who were popular last year are offering this year.
We're the Conspiracy Network, and this is our venue. This year, we're back in another special environment. We're taking it into a parkade so we can get people inside the environment, inside what we're doing. And this year we're doing a show about espionage and communication.
Can we talk?
Yes?
We need to talk. Let's talk. Lately, I've been feeling like... Please hold. But I...
Talk?
Yes?
We need to talk.
Let's talk.
Well, lately I've been feeling like...
Please hold.
But I...
In the storyline, we want to expand upon different perspectives on how we communicate with each other in society, in contemporary society, and what good that does for us and what bad that does for us.
We have a cast of 16 performers, dancers, musicians, actors, and opera singers. And it's an eclectic group of people as well in culture, and also being Bravado Cabaret and being this will be my 7th Fringe. It's taken a while to really master this and to make things work. And what I've done is it's a non-stop show of many ideas, lots of comedy, highbrow drama with always a little bit of a twist.
And remember, a festival pass is still a good bargain. You get into 10 shows for just $52. Good luck on the Fringe. For Nightlife, I'm Lisa Best.
Pembina Highway. And it's also a festival-filled weekend, with events sprinkled across the city from Garbage Hill to the Exchange District. Organizers are not only gifted at putting on the shows, they also put on a good spin on a cloudy, slightly soggy day.
Occasional thunder shower comes through, cleans off the site, and then we get up on with it again. So, you know, it's always hopping down here, and it's been really good.
For here at the festival, we've often found in the past that when it's cloudy, people still come on down to the site. When it's bright and sunny, sometimes they head out to the beach. And so when we saw that it was cloud covered, we thought, hey, you know, maybe people are going to stay around.
The news from Environment Canada is good.
We're looking at this to clear out over the extreme eastern portions of the province, probably after midnight tonight.
Tomorrow looks brighter. All festival goers will need to worry about is a place to find shade as sunny skies are predicted. Andrew Lee, Global News, Winnipeg.
A shocking...
If last weekend's place to be was Birds Hill Park for the 25th anniversary record-breaking Winnipeg Folk Festival, then this weekend the place to be is right here in Old Market Square, where the 11th annual Winnipeg Fringe Festival opens tonight.
Psst. Eve.
Oh, hello, Mr. Snake. How are you today?
Hey. It's a theater-goer's paradise, especially if you're mindful of the festival theme of temptation and the Garden of Eden.
God, is that you?
Ignore the deity behind the tree.
So take a bite out of the big theatrical apple and attend the wide range of plays at the festival. From the zany...
Yeah, slap me some, baby. All right, groovy.
...to the highly serious.
Glass wounds of all degrees seem to constitute the larger number of injuries. And the face, and especially the eye injuries, were beyond anything known in frequency and severity.
From the religious...
Jesus said to him, "Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit," and asked him, "What is thy name?" And the unclean spirit answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many."
To the profane.
And underneath, they shaped themselves to me, sculpted with my body. I envision throwing myself between their rush. I imagine they need me there.
And from slapstick... to just plain shtick. And there's other theater in town as well. Rainbow Stage will perform The Music Man through August the 16th in the Dome Under the Stars at Kildonan Park. The musical is an old classic, and you'll find yourself inescapably humming along. And it's also Robin Hood, saving the world for goodness and for accents.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 3 days since my last confession.
3 days? How many sins could you have committed in 3 days? Come back when you have more time, please.
How can you resist a guy with a mask, a hat, and the skill to use a rapier with the delicacy of an embroidery needle? This is real fight choreography. You know, it's a good thing his name was Zorro. Can you imagine him having to make, say, the W for Walter, or if his name was Henry, or imagine Bob, he'd have to make that sort of stupid B with, it just wouldn't work. It'd turn him into a kind of calligrapher or a teacher of writing skills or something like that. Anyway, forget about that. Come to the Fringe Festival, it's going to be wonderful, and I'll leave you with this mixed billboard of what else is happening across the city and the province this weekend.
Live with the MTN Skylink.
Thank you, Aaron. We're here live at Old Market Square. The Winnipeg Fringe Festival kicked off here today. Now, the Fringe Festival and other summer events could be facing a few problems next year. They're going to have to compete for volunteers and resources. The Pan American Games are in town, and that is creating some problems finding volunteers. And there's concern that this is going to conflict. So some of the organizations have already shuffled the deck to try and accommodate the Pan Am Games. Here's more in tonight's big story. Every summer, entertainment events in Winnipeg spread themselves out so they don't compete with each other. The Folk Festival in early July, the Fringe Festival in the latter part of July.
Unfortunately, I fell.
And finally, the cultural mega Folklorama in early August. But next year, with the Pan Am Games coming in late July, some of the events are moving to early July and will be competing with each other. How much of a concern is it for volunteers and resources?
Well, it's always a concern. Obviously, every year we have to put together a big festival on a very limited budget. Next year it might be a little bit tougher. Who knows?
Volunteers like Bonnie Gabbs, who work more than one summer event, will now have to choose one or the other. Does that present a problem for you?
I can see that they're going to have a little problem getting some volunteers because the volunteers that are doing the Fringe usually take on like about 16, 17 jobs.
And it might not be just a shortage of volunteers. There may not be enough resources or equipment to go around to accommodate all the festivals.
Porta potties have been mentioned prominently in some of the discussions that we've had.
But not all of the festivals are worried about moving their dates to make room for the Pan Am Games.
We have over 20,000 volunteers at Folklorama, and this will give them the opportunity to be involved in both Folklorama and the Pan Am Games.
And they're not only going to have to compete for volunteers and resources, they're also going to have to compete for the entertainment dollar. With me right now is Bertram Schneider of the Fringe Festival. And Bertram, is attendance going to be an issue next year?
Well, I'm thinking people are going to come out. I mean, people have been coming out in record numbers for the last few years. So, you know, obviously we're going to be competing with the Pan Am Games next year. We're going to be overlapping a little bit with the Folk Fest and Folklorama. We're all trying to jam our festivals into the first 3 weeks of July. So it'll be tough, but I think we can probably swing it. I think our patrons are pretty loyal.
Any plans of maybe switching it on a permanent basis?
No, we can't switch permanently just because we do play an important role on the National Fringe Festival circuit. And if we got out of sync with the rest of the festivals, that would really interrupt the international performers who are touring here every year, all the way from coast to coast.
Thanks a lot, Bertram. And these organizations, I'm sure, could use a lot of help next year, so this is the issue for you. If you'd like to volunteer your services, you can call any of these organizations. The Fringe Festival number is 956-1340. The number for Folklorama is 982-6210, or the Folk Festival at 231-0096. And Aaron, that's it for us for now, live with the MTN Skylink at the Old Market Square.
They're competing locally. I mean, the Folklorama had to move their dates, but they didn't want to go after the games.
Hi there, it's Alex Muggles with The Scene. Be tempted and get Fringe. The 98 Winnipeg Fringe Festival kicks off today. We are live at the Outdoor Stage 1, which is Old Market Square. There's 16 different venues with over 100 theater companies involved. Here's a look at the Burning Night Sky Theater Company, who are in from Calgary. Their production is called The Boy's Own Jedi Handbook.
Are you feeling anything? No. Me neither. Maybe it's the burlap. Too close to the kitty litter.
It's all about Star Wars. It's about a kid's first experience when Star Wars first came out in 1977. And yeah, it's just the experiences that boy has watching the movie, going through life, going through school, heartache, heartbreak, everything.
Why should people come and see you at the Fringe?
It's
fun.
It's so fun. It's fun to do. It's fun. It's like a whole thing. the audience feels it too.
Take you back to your childhood, a little Star Wars fun. You don't have to be a Star Wars fan necessarily to enjoy it, but
If you
just
had
got to
a
be a fan of childhood.
Yeah, if you had a childhood, you'll get it.
Make believe all those things. Right? Yeah.
If you want to feel the Force, be there.
5 tennis balls. 6! That part of our training had also failed. Thus ended our attempt at becoming Jedis.
And the boys' own Jedi Handbook is at Venue 9, starts tonight and runs until next Saturday. Well, today is my last day as host of The Scene, and I want to share it with you, and hopefully you can share it with me. We're going to party on the street later on tonight for my show. We're going to do it live on the street and give away a pair of Backstreet Boys tickets. To come on down, just come down to the MTN studio, 167 Lombard, between 10 and 10:30 tonight. You'll get a ballot to put in the draw, and then we'll make the draw live on my show. So you got to be in attendance to win. So we'll see you tonight for my last night with The Scene. And that is The Scene for now, live. Look at those guys, those are cool. Live from the Fringe, and it's back to you, Erin.
Thanks, Alex. I took you behind the scenes of the Fringe Festival for a glimpse of some comic improv. Today, CKY5 photojournalist John Schneider has this look at the mystery of the beaver at Bible Pond.
Yes, but I have to perform open heart surgery on an infant, and you have to collect garbage.
I knew you were going to throw that in my face someday.
The troupe is called the Royal Liechtenstein Theatre Company. It's made up of 7 members. It's about a whole bunch of stuff. It's sketch comedy, so it's like a number of funny things happening. That's good. Yeah, that's basically it. Beavers and loneliness. That's what the show. Music. There's dancing, singing, jokes, and poetry. You know.
And I'm quite sure that the calico down the street is playing the exact same piece as Mr. Fluffy Pants.
Well, can't Mr. Fluffy Pants change pieces or something?
Well, all 7 of us write different sketches, and then we sit down for about 24 hours and complain about the various different ones and eliminate them until we have a long enough show for the Fringe.
Well, maybe I could have a little talk with the calico.
What do you mean?
Tomorrow morning, on my route, it wouldn't be the first time that a feline crossed paths with a garbage truck.
Oh, honey, that's so sweet.
Come see it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, you'll have a good time.
That's it?
Yes.
Play on, Mr. Fluffy Pants. Play on.
Well, it sounds interesting, and Scott, I understand you're a big fan of the Fringe Festival.
If you're looking for a recommendation from the sports guy, I don't know how much that's worth. I've heard about one called A Midsummer Night's Fever. It's apparently a mix between Shakespeare and Saturday Night Fever, and it's a bit of a comedy, I'm sure, with those 2 combinations.
That does, yeah, that might be interesting to take in. Great.
I will be.
Headed out to the Fringe this weekend. You weren't the only one. You may have noticed you were not alone. The final numbers are in, and it turns out that over 4,500 people turned out to the Fringe on Saturday, making it a record-breaking day for the festival. The total number of people attending the Fringe this weekend was over 10,000. Remember, this is just the beginning of the Fringe. There are plenty of shows. Stay tuned to The Scene all during the Fringe, and we'll give you plenty of coverage and reviews of shows to see. It will all start tonight. We'll be checking out some of the festivities that you can do outdoors. And come on down to the Exchange District to check that out. Focused on all of the Fringe Festival's indoor venues and the shows that are happening there. But there is one important element to the Fringe Festival that everyone seems to overlook, and that is the importance of the outdoor stage. The Fringe Festival has added a second venue to accommodate outdoor entertainment to keep these folks happy.
They're not long enough to go in my eyes.
Oh, she's smart. I only take this much to reach the brain.
She's correct!
Well, Bertram, let's talk about the importance of these outdoor venues. You have a whole bunch that are inside that people can get to within a walking distance of Old Market Square here, but this is the center area, and you have some great outdoor activity going on. Well, maybe you can give us a little explanation as to why.
Yeah, this is kind of the heart of the festival right here on Old Market Square. It's so people come down. It's often the first time they come down to the festival. They see this site first, and here's where they learn about what the shows are on in the indoor stages. There's the info tent here. They can get a program, and it really acts as a central location. A lot of times people go to an indoor show, and they'll come to have an hour to kill before the next indoor show, so they'll spend it here watching the buskers, you know, eating some hot dogs or whatever, having a beer in the beverage tent. So it's a really good site. It's a very fun site to spend some time on.
And now you have a second outdoor site you've just introduced this year so people can go and enjoy even more acts. What brought that on?
Well, you know, we had to demand for more outdoor shows for sure, and it's over on the Pantages Plaza out in the corner of Main and Market in front of the Pantages Playhouse. It's a good site. It's especially the late night stuff is going well there. A lot of the fire jugglers and all those acts like that working really well. The Japanese drummers have been out there a couple times and they're doing great. So it's fun. It's fun having a second space on the other side of Main Street, and we're just the first year, so we're working away at it, and we'll probably be better next year.
He was a baby buffalo with big brown eyes.
How's it going so far?
Well, it's pretty hard to shout over the traffic noise at this venue, but it's fun to try and play because there's people going by and you can make fun of them.
And you're getting more of a walk-up crowd too, aren't you?
Yes, I would.
A walk-by crowd?
A walk-by crowd is what I guess you'd have to call them. I don't know. I guess if you can captivate an audience instantly, then maybe you can pull people in here. But I'm enjoying that stage a bit more, tell you the truth.
You know what? If you can catch this stage when a show's letting out, it could be really big. If you can get it just at the right time when there's a group of people coming out of a big show, it could be a pretty fun place to play.
Is the outdoor? Do you think the outdoor is a very important part of the Fringe, or do you think it could survive solely on indoor venues?
I think it's really an important part of it because you have to do something in between plays, and you hang out. It's more of something to do. You can come out down here and hang out all day. So just catch the acts, and it's really important.
Well, the 98 Winnipeg Fringe Festival is my first, but I'm not the only one who's going through a first here at the Fringe. One Winnipeg actress is experiencing the Fringe for her first time, on stage that is.
Mostly I've done film, and I've been pretty lucky because I've got a manager down in Los Angeles, and I've done a couple of films around here with Winston Moxham, and I've been on The Adventures of Shirley Holmes, and right now I've been cast in a new TV series they're shooting out in Garson called Number 1 West. It's a reoccurring role, so that should be kind of fun. And I'm going to be heading off to Saskatchewan in the fall to shoot a film with my manager. So.
Leslie Wallace is a young lady who is acting in the Fringe for the first time, and even though she's quite experienced in the film and TV biz, making the jump to live professional theater is proven to require a little bit of adjustment.
Know why they have flowers at funerals? Decoration. Most people think that, but they're really there to kill the smell.
I have terrible stage fright, which is really weird because I do acting all the time, but I get terribly scared right before I go on stage, and I'm not sure what it is that scares me, but I'm fine once I get up there, so this should be okay.
It's really nice to watch somebody like Leslie who's young and developing, and is you can see the talent developing, and you know, who knows, somewhere down the road I might be able to tell my grandchildren, well, you know, I directed Leslie once when we're watching her on TV or something.
And let's talk about the Fringe itself. What does it do for people like yourself that are trying to build a career in the acting field?
Well, it's really great. It gets you out there. It's a lot of publicity, and you learn a lot too when you're doing it, and it's just a lot of fun.
Did you hear me speaking before? It was horrible. I don't know, I got to call my speech pathologist. All right, well, there is one significant lineup change to make you all aware of, that the Bulgarian Theatre Association's show Fortunes has been replaced by the Big Stupid Improv Show. So if you have your Fringe schedule, be sure to keep that in mind. Whenever you see Fortunes, it has been changed to the Big Stupid Improv Show. And be sure to stay tuned to MTN. We're going to have plenty of Fringe coverage for you. We're going to try and get a lot of the live acts that are performing in the outdoor venues here around the Fringe. We're going to try and get them in here to perform for you in our studio. And also, we're going to try and get someone from Connect to come in, and we're going to review some plays there about the Fringe Festival, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's it for me. My time's up, Kim.
Well, thanks, Marilyn. We did, in fact, between us, we saw 35 shows over the weekend, so that's not bad.
No, it's not bad, and I have to say, some really enthusiastic fringers out there. It's been a real pleasure spending some time, although today there were some wet fringers, but very keen audiences.
That's right, and one of the interesting things about the audiences is I'm told that the distribution of audiences is better across all the plays. Last year they had a number of sellout performances that continue to sell out throughout the run. There have been no sellouts yet, but just larger audiences for everyone. So the actors are particularly happy, and that probably means that the Fringe goers are also happy because they're seeing more plays, I suspect.
That's right. I've even seen some standing ovations, and I've seen some houses that I thought were sold out, but I guess just clearly packed.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you saw a lot of comedies over the weekend, didn't you?
I did. I love comedy. I saw Winnipeg's Brave New Weasels in their new show Das Weasel, which was very funny. a little irreverent, kind of bad boy comedy. I also saw Green Eggs and Ham with their own style of improv called Monkey Con, which is quite interesting. And I saw from Edmonton one of my favorites. You know the group.
I know them, all right. Atomic Improv.
Exactly. And now they're doing 3 shows this year. They're doing a World War II spoof. They're also doing a 70s detective, and they're doing a 1950s science fiction story. Now that's what I saw. Now those are 3 different shows, but each show is actually different because they invite the audience to give us names of places, names of jobs, and so on. So what you get is a different show every night, and they're wonderful.
Yeah, well, slide me some, baby. All right, groovy.
Flapjack, you were gonna call me.
Hey, baby. Oh.
Flappy,
where's my 20 bucks? Yo, I'll slide you some bones, baby. I'll slide you bones later, baby.
It's your mama.
Yo, mama, check it out.
Now they're funny. You have to go see them.
Shooting them is wild. It was a wild time.
Now, that's a wonderful show from Atomic Improv, but there's another wonderful show. In fact, I think it's the best show I've seen so far, and this is called How Do You Know When You're Done? It's by Al Ray and Dean Jenkinson, and it's about a comedy duo during the comedy boom of the 1980s. They're Trials and Travails, and they break up, and we see why. Now, this is a very, very funny show. It's also quite a moving show, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting quite good reviews, actually. It's very interesting, those 2 guys, who have connections with CBC as well, so we might as well say that right off the top, although that has nothing to do... I haven't seen the show yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I do know them professionally, but I tell you, I had genuinely hearty belly laughs, and that was a delight to have that experience.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed in connection with what you've just said is that I think the level of performance this year is higher among all the performers. Of the cluster of plays I saw over the weekend, at least 10 have first-rate performances by either 1 or 2 actors. And I think that that's quite remarkable. I mean, I'm thinking of things like Love Among the Lentils, a one-woman play very strong, Quiet Room, another one-woman play very strong, a theme of kind of madness, and also a 2-hander called Home to Roost by an English company from Manchester about the Troubles in Dublin, which is really a very powerful and gripping and quite monstrous play in some ways.
He must have died of a heart attack.
A heart attack?
He's been flying all day from County Kerry. He's given everything he's got. He spent the last 2 hours circling and circling, waiting for a significant moment in which to land, when he sees you pointing that shotgun right at him. The shock, the strain on his heart. What are you doing?
I'm a nurse, aren't I? Maybe I can revive him.
That Claire Berry is such a good actress.
And there's some wonderful writing in that play, too. I mean, not many plays can quote Joyce and Keats and get away with it and not make it seem preachy. It's really quite a remarkable inhabitation of the language, I think. You know, we saw a couple of other plays together that are quite interesting. One of them, and probably the play that is doomed to be the most controversial of this Fringe, that's Greek by the English Suitcase Theatre Company, Kevin Williamson's company. It's a retelling of the Oedipus myth. Told from the point of view of East End Londoners, and it's a tough bit of business, isn't it?
It is a tough play. I think the performances were outstanding, particularly Kevin Williamson, and the production is very good, but I had some problems with it, and one of them is, after 10 minutes of going through the lexicon of lewd language and vulgar gestures, you can't shock me anymore. That's it. But I had to sit through it for another hour and 20 minutes or so. It got a bit much, and I found when Oedipus is raging, or Ed as he's called, about learning that his wife is actually his mother, the impact was lost on me. He had been raging since the moment 1. Terrific performances, but relentlessly ugly.
Yeah, I think that's what Burkoff's play is trying to do, actually, to try and salvage something from a world that is so bestial and so crude that it's really quite remarkable. It's a play that does start high and maintains that intensity for a long time, so it's going to be a difficult one for audiences, I think, but they are sensational performances. Another play we saw together, which has wonderful performances, but goes in exactly the opposite direction towards a kind of softness and lyricism, is a play by the One World Theatre Company out of Seattle called Mirette and Bellini.
And this is the outfit that I wore for my first performance with the circus. And how was the crowds? Did many people come to see you? Oh, yes, there were 5, no, maybe 7 100, darling.
It's very sweet, it's very gentle. It reminded me a bit of Fellini's La Strada, but I found it a bit unfocused. I like the idea of cynicism versus hope and illusion versus reality. Didn't quite deliver. I found it dragged a bit.
Yeah, I liked it pretty well all the way through. It's a very seductive little quiet little play. One of the nice things about Fringe is the surprises. Walked in over the weekend to a play called Remembering Galileo. Wasn't sure what I was going to get. Absolutely enchanted by this one-man performance about a slightly odd guy living in an odd place who's fascinated with the Galileo the astronomer. I just loved it.
On the other hand, you get a few duds, and I went to see Foreplay, which had been getting pretty good notices. I found it banal. I thought, because it's a mainly dance show, the dancing was sloppy and crude, and I found the whole subject matter of a woman looking through love through the personals, only for us to discover that it's like a crying game and she's actually a man. That's not fresh. That's tired. Who cares?
One other thing, too, I went to a play, Leni Riefenstahl, which ran something like 17 minutes over the allotted time in the program. That's an unforgivable, unprofessional sin for a play. They've got to watch that very carefully. So in the future, people are just going to walk out, I think, if that happens. We're going to keep at it, and we're going to be back on Thursday with our fabulous
Top 10 list.
Yeah, and by that time we'll have seen more plays than human beings, and it's possible for human beings to see and absorb. We'll talk to you later.
Happy Fringe.
We're back at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. You know, my daughter and I went fringing here on Saturday, and she had a blast, I had a blast, and these hundreds and hundreds of people here in the Old Market Square are having a blast fringing as well. It's the 11th annual Winnipeg Fringe Festival. Attendance is up for good reason. Number one, the performances are great. The outdoor stage, the free outdoor stages are great. But most of all, the weather's been cooperating so well, and it will continue to do so this week. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight and for tomorrow. Free stages either here or over at the Pantages Playhouse, or by all means, taking a show. I'm telling you, there's something for everyone. Whether you're 5 years old, a little older, or even a little bit older, check it out. Should also check out Meredith Wilson's The Music Man, which is on right now down at Rainbow Stage. 780-1234, the number to call. We'll give away 2 pairs of tickets tonight in Lisa Best's absence to The Music Man down at Rainbow Stage. Great night for fringing. Come down and check it out, but do it with a program. It'll help you big time. That's it for weather. Let's go back to the studio now. John and Kristen, have nightlife.
And 2.
It's day 5 of the festival. We're halfway through. We formed a relationship. You want to talk about relationships today, don't you?
In fact, every year there's a theme, and one of the themes this year is relationships, which isn't surprising.
No,
I mean,
no.
It's always been with us since time began. I saw 3 plays about human relationships. One is called Nice Guy, and it's one of those plays where the performances are nicer than the material. It's a little trite.
It's off. It's over. It's done. It's canceled. Our wedding is not happening. Start telling everyone.
Is something wrong?
You were on the floor.
For a moment.
Right now.
Yeah, but now see, I'm standing. I'm okay. You know, You're not dressed.
You know, I have reconsidered, because so many people I know who got married just to get married, well, they're no longer married.
The other one I saw was 3 Romances. This is a local production. Nice performances by 2 young, very energetic actors. Again, material a little weak. But something I saw that really knocked my socks off, and that's Surviving Bluebeard by Britain's Orchard Theatre. Wow, this is an incredible show. It's creative, it's exciting. It looks at the myth of Bluebeard and marriage and trust and the differences between the sexes. I loved it.
Curiosity cost us paradise.
Banished forever for eating an apple? Adam wouldn't have dared by himself.
Adam would have called it obedience.
More like cowardice or lack of imagination.
Beware of strangers bearing gifts.
Especially snakes.
Terrific acting in Surviving Bluebeard, a very intelligent production.
Yeah, I'm going to see that one. Everybody's talking about it. It must be very strong. You know, there's also incest. This is kind of a relationship which we don't talk about much, but there are at least 3 plays at this year's Fringe which deal with that. Greek does, of course, the Oedipus story retold about sleeping with mom. There's also a play called The Pelican, a Strindberg play, which is being done over here in the Art Space building, which is really very strong, with a wonderful clutch of local actors, and also a Sam Shepard play called Fool for Love, about a half-sister and half-brother who get involved in ways that, shall we say, aren't entirely appropriate. You know, this festival is also known for some foreign groups as well here, aren't there? There are lots of European groups here.
There is, and one group that really caught my eye is from Kiev, from Ukraine, and the play they're putting on is called The Old Woman. Now, this is an enchanting production. Even if you don't speak Ukrainian, and much of the show is in Ukrainian, don't let that deter you, because they act with their faces and their bodies, and it's a magical show.
Yeah, it sure is. And you know, one of the other things that I've noticed that's kind of interesting, completely different from the European stuff, is there are a few plays that deal with major events in Canadian history. One is a play which deals with in December 1917, the explosion in Halifax, which was at that time the largest explosion in the world, and it uses history and personal reminiscence in quite an intriguing way.
And while such a condition would seem to mitigate somewhat the acute horrors of the suffering, it did not bode well for the future, and a larger mortality rate and slower rate of recovery might be expected than from similar injuries under other conditions.
Capital city of this province has been overtaken with an appalling disaster. Stop.
And there's also a play called Jewel, which deals with the ocean ranger sinking off the coast of Newfoundland in the 1980s.
And I actually found something that made sense. The book of Genesis, page 1. That the waters teem with living creatures, and let the birds fly above within the vault of heaven. And so it was. God created great whales.
I haven't seen Jewel yet, but the writing seems very good. It's a play by John MacLeod.
Now, we have lots more plays to see. Which ones are you going to see next?
I'm going to see The Gospel of St. Mark, which is a 90-minute-long investigation of that book of the Bible, which the actor doing it has done good work here in the past, so I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm going to see Mind of the Iguana by Steve McIntyre and Brian Drader. A huge hit here 10 years ago. It's been remounted, and I've heard very good things about it.
What if she got pregnant or something? They'd be these little mutants, half lizard, half human. Like, and what kind of skin would they have? Oh, how would they go to the bathroom?
Okay. Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow with more coverage of the Winnipeg Fringe.
And welcome to the scene. I'm David J. Roberts. Well, right off the top, we have a very special treat. We have some Fringe performers here. They're called With Special Guest. They're going to do a little scene for us. Take it away, guys.
Hello, Christy. How are you today?
Fine, thank you, hair lip boy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine.
Are you waiting for the bus?
Yes, I'm waiting for the Manitoba Transit.
Oh, okay. Would you like some butter?
I don't want butter. Why do you have butter?
Oh, I like butter. It tastes good, especially on a hot summer day.
It's cold out tonight.
Would you like one?
What?
Would you like me to warm you up?
Ah, what are you doing?
I'm kissing you.
His name was Hair Lip Boy. We didn't know his real name. He lived next door. I was just waiting for the bus. His slippery lips and his cleft palate caused some kind of suction, and my tongue ended up in his mouth, and I think I tasted brain.
Ooh, give it up. With special guest. Congratulations, because that was fun and disgusting all at the same time.
A little bit of both.
You had to enjoy practicing that scene, rehearsing it.
Oh, yeah.
We practiced without the butter.
Oh, ouch.
So it was sort of a surprise when she actually had to taste butter.
A little bit of a steamy soap opera thing happening off set here.
Oh, tons of violence and sex in the show. And butter.
I'm gonna turn over here, guys, because you are also part of With Special Guest.
That's right.
And well, where are you from?
We're from Calgary, Alberta, actually.
Yeah, the two of us, Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
And you came all the way out here just to be in our wonderful little Fringe.
That's right, yeah. It was a nice little road trip across the prairies.
Yeah, I always wanted to spend some time in the Peg.
And what have you guys thought of it so far?
Oh, it's been absolutely wonderful. The Fringe Festival here is top-notch.
I'd say top end.
Yes.
Top end, top-notch. Capital. Really, first class.
Really, we're doing that well, are we?
Oh, definitely. If they had something like this in Calgary, it would be amazing, but they just can't get it together there. Winnipeg has really got it together, and we think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, you guys do, this is part of the indoor venue show. I see you guys performing also outdoor at the Old Market Square.
Yeah.
But you guys do an indoor show. All 4 of you are involved.
That's right.
And, well, when is that? Give it a little plug here.
Thursday night at 6 we have a show, and Saturday night 11:30, late night show.
That's right. That's right, yeah.
Perfect. Well, everyone, come on out, guys. Really appreciate you being on. They're my first live guests with special guests. Woo-hoo! All right. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Well, here it is. I'm new here to the scene and to Winnipeg in general, and when politicians are trying to make their name,
The Fringe Festival could be this building's swan song, and that is heating up the debate on whether to save the Ashdown and buildings like it or have them demolished.
I think that people are being really creative and finding uses for it, and I don't see why they shouldn't continue to find even more uses for it.
I've never understood the economics of wrecking structures and why it makes more sense economically to wreck something rather than to rebuild it.
I'm kind of both ways on it. I'd like to see it happen, but I think that we maybe have some other priorities first.
Those fighting the demolition blame City Hall for rushing their decision and not hearing from the public first.
Why do you want to knock it down before you've exhausted all their means of preserving the buildings? Why are they in such a rush?
This petition protesting the demolition plan already has nearly 4,000 signatures. It's hoped the opinions of the public will slow down council's intentions.
I still have a hope that some of them may say, my goodness, I didn't know the public sentiment was that strong and in that direction.
City Hall says they're open to any business plans, but the catch is cash. Before this door opens again for business, City Hall says the developer must put his money where his mouth is, something they claim hasn't happened yet and must happen by August the 30th. In Winnipeg, Erin Garrity, MTN News.
Ta-da! Look at that here. We were good at that dance.
Well, we should be. We've seen lots of dance shows, and one of the things I love about the Fringe is some of the shows make me actually want to dance myself.
Yeah, I saw you foot tapping here, you know.
I saw Marnie Cook's Bravado Dance Cabaret last night, and boy, was it terrific. This is a variety show. It has song, it has dance, it features tap, jazz, flamenco. Terrific show.
The audiences just love what Marnie Cook does. I know I've seen them last year, and they really do like them as well. There is, in fact, quite a bit of dance here. There's also a piece called Carving Mother from a Toronto dance company, which is a pretty unusual piece of dance as well, but just 2 dancers on stage, beautifully danced. It's just wonderful to watch these women's bodies move through space. I say that in a completely innocent way.
Sinai is back this year. You've seen her before. This is her 3rd year here, and her show this year is called Arohani, and it is fantastic. This is sort of a combination of gymnastics and performance art and dance, and it's as though her body is made of liquid. She seems to metamorphosize into a butterfly, sometimes into a piece of driftwood. You have to see this show. From Japan, Arohani, a must-see.
Yeah, there's also another piece by Jennifer Maskell from Vancouver. She does a very interesting piece, which is a look at the life of Emily Carr, the painter. It's called A Brutal Telling, and their use of props and movement is really quite remarkable in this one. You liked it, didn't you?
I loved it. I saw it yesterday, and I thought it really conveyed that tortured sense of the artist.
Yeah. Now, there's also a piece called Integrations, which is by Image Theatre here in Winnipeg, which is a series of experimental dances, and it just has a lovely kind of lyric flow about it, and is part of that strength of what's happening with dance here at the Fringe Festival. Not traditionally an idea of Fringe theatre, because it's theatre movement, but it certainly works a lot of the time.
When When deciding what to see at the Fringe, you might want to take in some comedy, and there are plenty of comedy choices out there. One of the groups is Sensible Footwear, and the show is called Dish the Dirt. These two British women really do dish the dirt from everything: love, romance, husbands, weight gain. They do it all with a nice, edgy sense of naughtiness. Another show to see is from the Leathers brothers, Gord and Graham Leathers from Winnipeg. And this is a show that reminded me of the Red Green Show. Some of the humor is political in tone, and it's a nice, clean family show.
Swing to the left. And so we worked these policies in post-war world economies. Production boomed, and with it grew prosperity we never knew.
Should have picked up the Jenny review as well. You know, this is the sort of place where you can start, isn't it? Because all the information's here in these booklets, and also the people are very helpful. So that's always a useful thing to do if you first come to the Fringe.
You know, we were talking about dance at the beginning, and one of the styles of dance we didn't talk about is disco. Now, disco is in the Fringe this year in a show called A Midsummer Night's Fever, and it's a retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream done a la disco style. So, Bottom, the character, does not become a donkey, he becomes a duck, and we actually hear the song, you know the one, Disco Duck. It's a bit high schoolish in production values, but the sincerity and enthusiasm of the performers make it worthwhile.
You said they'd be here at the studio tonight, but I don't see Hermia. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna hang out for a while, but you can get lost. I don't need you around anymore.
You draw me to you, you heartless scorner. You are the magnet, and I am the steel.
Those fashions take me back, and I don't want to go there again.
I didn't want to be there in the first place. You know, Shakespeare's pretty popular here. There's another play by an English group called Shooting Up Shakespeare, which also uses the great bard as a source to get into a play that is really quite charming.
The moon is a holographic projection from Buckingham Palace.
People have landed on the moon.
On TV? Yes. I mean, if you look carefully, very carefully, at Neil Armstrong's visor, you can see the cameramen.
One of the real delights of the Fringe Festival is discovering how an actor or actress can hold a stage for an hour and make you really want to be there. That happened to me last night when I went to see a play called Visiting Euphrasia by a Kingston actress named Jodie Essery. I knew nothing about the play, went in there, and was absolutely entranced for the 35 or 40 minutes or so that her show lasts, so I highly recommend it. Now, I wasn't surprised when I went over here to the Art Space building to see The Gospel of St. Mark with John Huston. He's been here for a number of years and does wonderful plays. This one is 90 minutes long, and it may be the tour de force performance of this Fringe Festival as he makes an unlikely subject like the Gospel of St. Mark come to life on stage.
What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee, by God, that thou torment me not.
Because Jesus said to him, "Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit," and asked him, "What is thy name?"
Well, another busy day left ahead, Robert, as we continue our fringing and to come up with tomorrow's top 10 list.
That's right. You know, one of the plays in contention for me totally caught me by surprise. It's a piece called Tired Clichés. Went to it, didn't know what to expect. I think of the 45 or 50 plays I've seen so far, it's the best comedy of all of them. It's really dazzling. I highly recommend it.
Now, I've heard good things about a show from Sarah Martin, who I understand replaced someone.
That's right. A company didn't come, and with only 3 or 4 days' notice, she came into town with her show called Tequila Liquor. I hardly knew her, and while I haven't seen it, it's getting very good recommendations from people who have.
Well, I think you've seen almost everything. In fact, I have a new nickname for you.
What's that?
Blur.
Yeah.
He's a blur as he dashes from show to show to show. It's incredible.
Yeah, and inside his head is a blur, so I think that between today and tomorrow, I'll have to try and get focused so we can give you our top 10 finally. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good evening. Well, good evening. We have an exciting event in store for you here. The Spleen Jockeys are here to perform live on the scene, and that's coming up right after the commercials. Well, good evening. Welcome to the scene. I'm David J. Roberts, and we're going to kick things off huge with Winnipeg's best comedy troupe, Spleen Jockeys.
Why have you come?
I had to.
I told you not to.
But I wanted to see you.
You cannot.
I see you now.
You cannot. I do not wish to be seen.
But you are beautiful.
Beauty is a myth.
I love you. This is not a myth. We are not mythological figures.
Correct. I am not a god.
You are a balloon, floating with the freedom of a bird, your wings spreading endlessly across every crevice, including the crevice of my blackened heart, which is full of unrequited love and fear, thrown together into a ball of emotions uncontrollable by my own actions. This is why I need you.
Liar! The journey I travel by boat, floating, not flying across this bleak desert I call my inner self. I arrive at the gates of this desert to find a sign that reads, Desert of my troubled soul, and I ride inside on the camel that is my brain, searching for any glimpse of hope in this shriveled up plum of a life. Water, water, where is this water I call my life's blood? The answer I receive is not that of a voice, but of a harsh, cool wind blowing through my veins in an effort to calm the rage that builds inside me. And it builds and builds until it explodes in a violent flurry of anger, triggered by my past experiences and relationships, and manifesting itself in the desire to run away from love.
That made no sense.
Excuse me?
You did not express yourself correctly there. What you said, it made no sense.
It did too.
No, it didn't. You cannot travel by boat and camel at the same time. It's impossible.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You said the journey I travel by boat. Floating, not flying across the bleak desert I call my inner self. I arrive at the gates, I read a sign that reads Desert of my troubled soul, and I ride inside on the camel that is my brain. Huh? Boat and then camel. Huh?
I was riding the camel on the boat.
Really? And what did you do with the boat when you got to the gates?
I left it behind. It represented all the baggage I carry with me wherever I go.
Oh, really? Wherever you go?
Well, not on this journey. This journey was personal. Leave me alone. You haunt me.
Impossible. I'm not a ghost. I cannot haunt you.
You twist my words.
Twisting can only be done to the physical. Your words are literal.
Stop it.
Why?
You frustrate me.
You frustrate yourself?
Ah!
I cannot communicate with that.
Leave me alone.
We cannot be together.
That is how it was before the sketch started.
Impossible. We did not exist before the sketch. There is no before the sketch. It's just a sketch.
You caused me pain.
Impossible. I am just a character in the sketch. The spleen jockeys created me. They are the ones who cause you pain.
Damn you, spleen jockeys!
No. It is you who are damned. You have insulted them. They will now end the sketch. I'm sorry.
I know.
Beautiful. You know, have you guys ever been told that you may not have enough sugar in your diet? Well, here they are, the spleen jockeys. And, well, you guys are four shows into the Fringe so far.
You
That's
bet.
right. That's right.
And things are going well so far.
Things are going really great. We're very happy to be back.
The hometown crowd is eating you guys up.
Oh,
yeah, we're getting great crowds out. It's a lot of fun. Good time.
Okay, well, let's pump the rest of the shows here. When you guys, what venue are you guys?
We're in Venue 8. Our next show is tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. After that will be Friday at 7:45 p.m. and then Sunday at 8:30 p.m.
Great, so check them out, guys. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it. And we're going to move right along here for more Fringe coverage. Here's Dan Valdron from Connect, your weekly entertainment source. And Dan, you've been checking out a lot of the shows around the Fringe.
A couple of dozen so far, yeah.
A couple of dozen. And, well, let's start off with the top 3 shows in your mind that are must-sees right now.
Obviously, the Spleen Jockeys. And Sam Panther's pretty good. The Brave New Weasels are great. There's a good one called, A Bright Room Called Love. And I guess my pick for the hidden gem in the Fringe is Penguin Blues. Just great acting. Didn't expect it, but just a solid show.
Really?
Yeah.
And so far, how has the organization of the Fringe been this year? Are you impressed over past years?
I'm really impressed. This has been an especially good Fringe. You can tell from the turnout, the weather's been great, and there's been a lot of venues. The venues have been really good this year. The only downside is the second outdoor stage. All it is a stage. There's no place for people to go, so you've got performers who are working to park the cars. Tough.
But fortunately, the weather's been nice enough so people can enjoy the outdoor venues right around the town here. And one thing that I did want to get out, it's hard to choose the show that's right for you. There are so many shows in this Fringe. You got any tips for people that are looking for, just madly looking for the right show for them?
I'd say take a chance, you know, because there's always a hidden gem out there. There's always a show that'll just knock you on your butt, and you just don't know it's there. So if you're going to go see the Fringe, I mean, there are things that you can read the program book, listen to people, talk to people, but always just take a chance. Go see something that you weren't planning on seeing. You'll be surprised.
There you go. Some great tips, and hopefully this has helped you decide what you're going to go check out here in the Fringe. And for the scene, this is pretty much it. Jeremy and Patty, I want to thank you for watching, and Kim, it's back to you. Good evening, I'm David J. Roberts. This is The Scene, and we have another stellar live performance group for you in the studio. Here they are, the comedy sketch group, Them.
What do you think, Mike? No way. Why not? Because you know the effects of long-term radiation poisoning. I mean, he's probably mutated into some sort of hideous flesh eater. Mike, man, I have got to get out of this bomb shelter. Richard, if you open that door, we'll both be killed. I don't care.
Oh, God!
A special wish for you at this special time of year. So remember that you're special. May it bring you love and cheer. Happy birthday, man.
Hi. We're the whole people.
Little double Dutch?
No, thank you.
Rocky Road ice cream, man?
Oh, wow.
Hey, how about a little kiss?
Hey, what is this?
It's love, man. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, take us to someone who can tell us what the hell's going on.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Big boom bam, love of the land, man. Ain't no room for nothing else but love.
Well, do you have maybe like a place where you found other whole people?
Maybe it's like things sugar-coated like sweet Alabama morning. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I got honey buns and yoo-hoos. Why fuss and fight?
Oh, wow. Richard, what? Richard, what? What's going on, man?
I don't know. But it's either this or we stay in the hole.
Well, I like yoo-hoo.
You're darn right you do. All right, let's go.
Hey, hey, hey. Why walk when you can piggyback?
All right.
Woo! All right, there they are. Them. Well, I want to know how much alcohol you guys had before you wrote that one. Go on in here, guys. That was outrageous. How's the Fringe going for you guys so far?
Very well, very well, yeah.
You having a good turnout for your show?
Yeah, we've
Oh, yeah. Yeah?
Most definitely. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, give a quick plug here. Where can folks check you out? Which venue?
It's Center Warehouse, venue number 5, and it's, we have a show Friday, tomorrow night, 8:30, and Saturday at noon.
Outstanding. It's them from Orlando, Florida. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, look, all of us media types can tell our opinion of the Fringe, and it doesn't necessarily mean a licking bit to you. If it's good or bad, you may or may not go and see it. But the best review you can get is word of mouth. So Mike and I went out to get some honest, objective reviews about Fringe shows.
5 tennis balls. 6! That part of our training had also failed. Thus ended our attempt at becoming Jedi.
Are there any shows in particular that stand in your mind because they're really good?
Yeah, I saw the show. It's called The Boys on Jedi Handbook. It's a Star Wars play, and like it's about this guy growing up, and he was in his first play when he was in grade 3. He played Charlie Brown, and saw Star Wars the same year, and how Star Wars is all related. And they do all the scenes from the movies and stuff, like they do Han Solo and Greedo confrontation, and it's a whole hoot. Everybody's laughing. They throw popcorn. You get free popcorn at the show. It was really a hoot.
Have there been any shows in particular that you have enjoyed about the Fringe so far?
The Fringe so far, yes, there has been one. In fact, it's been one of the open venues. In fact, I didn't even have to go and pay first. You just come, sit down, and watch it. It's this juggler guy, really good, really good. He balances stuff on his face, and then he juggles fire and bowling ball, unicycle. His finale is great. He stands all over. It's like a mosh pit on the audience. It's fantastic. Yeah, everyone should go check him out. He's really a decent act to see.
And you'd recommend that show to all the folks?
I would, and tip him well, too. I mean, he's worth a good couple of bucks, maybe 5, 10, 20 if you like, even.
Now, you aren't being biased at all, are you?
Me? No. Why would you think that?
No particular reason.
No.
Thank you.
It's that it does not know what kind of people it is reaching.
Are there any shows, in particular, so far this Fringe, that have stuck out in your mind?
Absolutely. Tony Kushner play called A Bright Room Called Day at MTC Warehouse.
It's a fantastic story that takes place in the early 30s in Berlin during Hitler's rise to power. And there are artists and actors and communists and political figures, and they drink and they carouse and they yell and they scream and they fight and they cry, and it's a fantastic ensemble acting piece with some of the finest actors in Winnipeg. Nancy Drake, Harry Nelkin. I mean, you should see these two. They're unbelievable on the stage.
You sound very enthusiastic. Am I to get this from, it's highly recommended for you?
It's highly recommended. It's a beautiful story and it's a lot of fun.
All right, guys, I'm just wondering if there's any one particular show so far this Fringe that you have really enjoyed and stands, you know, heads and shoulders above all the rest.
Well, I have seen this one show. It's called Shooting Up Shakespeare by Screwed and Clued Theatre Company. They're a bunch of 4 English guys, and they basically wander around with bright red hair. They're very easy to spot, and their play is really quite staggeringly good.
School one's good.
Yeah.
School one's very good.
It's basically about 4 friends who grow up in England. You know, they get drunk, they have fights, they see football matches, and it is, you know, quite undoubtedly the best piece of theatre I've ever seen.
Well, almost every...
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
See ya.
And if live theatre is more to your preference, get down to the Exchange District for the Fringe Festival. Here's our top 10 list and a few more thrown in for good theatrical measure.
Hi, I'm Janet Dirks.
And I'm Robert Enright. We're just horsing around here at the Fringe.
Tonight we're going to give you our top 10 list of the best of Winnipeg Fringe Festival.
Boy, these are beautiful animals. That's coming up on 24 Hours.
And still to come on 24 Hours, it's time for the top 10 list. Enright and Dirks on the best of the Fringe Festival. You won't want to miss it.
Well, Janet, this is it. We're going to do our top 10. We've seen, what, some 80 indoor shows over the last number of days?
We sure have. And you know, during this time, I've come up with some tips on how to make fringing a little easier.
Yeah.
Now, I suggest you bring a sun hat when you wait in line. You don't want to get sunstroke. You might want to put a sweater in your bag in case those air-conditioned venues get a little chilly. And if you're taking young children, it's really important to make sure that the show that says general or family is actually appropriate for children, because sometimes they're not. Now, it's the company itself that comes up with this category. And I saw a show yesterday called When Two Nerds Collide that had penis jokes, a castration scene. It was pretty crass, not appropriate for young children at all, and yet I saw a young child there. So be really careful about what kind of show you're taking your kids to.
Yeah, now, you know, now we'll have a chance to talk about the 10 plays that we love, because there are some real bummers here, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about the best plays we've seen over the last 6 or 7 days. And the number 10 spot is a tie, isn't it? It's a tie because there are a couple of comedies. One is called Tired Cliches by a company out of Vancouver, actually a one-man show, and it's just smart-paced, highly intelligent, rivetingly funny humor.
The other one is How Do You Know When You're Done by Al Ray and Dean Jenkinson. This is about a comedy team, their travails and how they break up, and it's very funny, but it's also quite moving.
Now, number 9 is also a tie, and it moves into the category of drama. One of them is called Bed Among the Lentils, and it's Rosie Fuhr-Dryden from England, a very fine play about the wife of a minister who finds ways to escape that absolutely stultifying environment.
The sermon was about sex. I didn't actually nod off, though I have heard it before. Marriage gives the okay to sex as the gist of it, but while it is far from being the be-all and end-all, you can say that again, sex is nevertheless the supreme joy of the married state and a symbol of the relationship between us and God.
Our other pick in the number 9 spot is The Quiet Room. This is a one-woman show about the close connection between madness and creativity.
And it's really a good show, and the idea of performance also leads us to our number 8 spot, which is John Huston's 90-minute-long Invention of the Gospel of St. Mark. 90 minutes of tour de force performance, which is really one of the strongest things I saw at this year's festival.
and all the unclean spirits went out, boom, and entered into the swine, pow! And the whole herd went violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea.
In our number 7 spot is a show that was first done 10 years ago, Mind of the Iguana.
Yeah.
And this new production shows just how fresh and quirky it really is about a woman who has what she thinks is a perfectly viable alternative relationship with an iguana.
Okay, the freak show's over. We'll just go.
And a tie for the number 7 spot, along with Mind of the Iguana, is another local production, this time of an August Strindberg play called The Pelican. Some of the finest ensemble acting by Winnipeggers I've seen for a long time on Winnipeg stages.
Now, at number 6, we have the wonderful Heidi Weeks in Growl Sweetly, and she's terrific. This is a one-woman show, and she really has the jam and the savvy to pull it off.
And that night, on the subway, when I grabbed the only seat left between two old women who smell like cough drops, I fall asleep. And I have those quick dreams I hate that I see on a slant and make me dizzy. And in this dream, I'm running from Terrence as he's grabbing for me. Everyone in the office is watching, but they're cheering for Terrence. And everyone is snatching for my clothes, which are just coming off without even a tear or anything. I managed to keep them from grabbing my underwear.
Now, at number 5, it's a show by the Orchard Theatre, and it's called Surviving Bluebeard. This is a modern retelling of the Bluebeard myth, and it explores issues of trust and relationships and the differences between the sexes. Fantastic.
It's good, all right.
Beware of strangers bearing gifts.
Especially snakes. But Bluebeard wasn't a stranger, not exactly.
Nor is this key exactly a gift.
No. More a challenge. To love, honor, and obey without question.
Whatever the promise of the apple, Eve shouldn't have bitten into it.
I can't tell you, Janet, how many times I've come to this place because I need what this guy can give us.
And I bet you order what I'm going to order. 2 espressos, please.
That's right. The hours sometimes are very difficult and you need to stay awake, and this stuff helps. Thanks very much. We're now at number 4, and it's another English company, this time the Eyewitness Theatre Company, doing a wonderful 2-person play with superb acting and very direct writing as well, called Home to Roost.
This isn't a real pigeon. It's fake. The feathers are fake. You threw this, didn't you? You set me up.
Just my little joke. Huh? We used to play little jokes all the while when she was a little girl, don't you remember?
Our number 3 pick is a show that has been getting a lot of attention at this year's Fringe Festival.
It sure has. It's the Eyewitness Theatre Company from England's version of Greek, which is the retelling of the Oedipus story from a contemporary East End London point of view. And this may be the best ensemble piece of ambitious acting in this year's festival.
Bang us a toast! Where's the jam?
Pig. Multi, lad.
Bang us a toast! Where's the jam?
Pig. Potatoes, lad. I'm on a diet. Potatoes.
No, Mum, I've had 6 slices already.
Go on, have some more.
I don't want no more, you rancid old boob. Hey! I'd spray affectionately.
Oh, we don't like my game.
She'd simper. All right, bang us another slice and I'll wedge it down with a mug of tea to slop it up a bit. Bang us the toast! Where's the jam?
Pig. Potatoes, lad.
She gazes on us with moist eyes, on all of us slurping like fat pigs in a trough.
Robert always gets the fans. Now, one of the plays we've picked for number 2 is from Brazil. It's called Sisters of the Season, and this is a retelling of the Macbeth story from the point of view of the witches, and it's very visceral.
And the tie for the number 2 spot is another European company, this time Theatre Club Kiev, doing a wonderful version of the meeting of 2 Russian writers. It's called The Old Woman, and it is a delight from beginning to end. How about this? This is Buxter here.
And this is Beauty, and she certainly is beautiful.
And if we had our pick, we'd probably choose them as the best of the Fringe, which is no way of undermining what we're about to tell you. And that is our number 1 pick is a fairly unconventional choice because it's a piece of dance.
Right, it's from Japan. It's called Irokini, and it is amazing. The dancer moves her body like liquid mercury. It really is an incredible show.
This is 45 minutes of sustained movement, which no pictures we can give you will give you an idea of how good it is. Go and see it. The best piece of dance I've seen in a quarter of a century, and I'm not telling you a word of a lie.
Well, that's it for our Fringe coverage, but as you can tell, the Fringe is still continuing. It runs until Sunday.
That's right, and we saw so many good plays this year. Of the 80 or so we saw, that we've decided to give you a plus 10 list in addition to our best 10. So all you have to do is call a number, which Janet's going to give you very soon, and we just list them in no particular order of priority. They're just good shows.
That's right. You can call 788-3629. That's 788-3629. Or you can look at our website for the top 10 list and our plus 10 list as well.
And here is the first 10 we chose.
And you to get off the couch, go out and volunteer, maybe even volunteer for a festival. We'll be right back with that story from Kai Hassel-Reese.
Virlin, last week I told you about some physical activities you can do in your spare time. Things like hiking and inline speed skating. But you don't necessarily have to do something physical in order to have fun and meet terrific people. There's lots of other activities you can do in the great outdoors, like volunteering at a summer festival. Well, this past week, as you can tell from my t-shirt, I became one of 500 volunteers at the Winnipeg Fringe Fest. I wanted to show you just how fun it can be, so I prepared this report. Well, here I am at Winnipeg's famous Fringe Fest. 105 plays from 5 continents at 16 different venues, featuring thousands of performers. And hey, look over there, there's my CBC buddy, Robert Enright. Hey, Robert. Who's that guy? Well, anyway, none of this would happen without hardworking people like me. That's right, I'm a real live volunteer, and I've got one of the most important jobs of all at the beer tent. Whoa, wait a second. Can I see some ID? Oh, man. This is the beer tent, the hub of the Fringe. This is where everybody gathers before and after the shows. Hey, guys. Hi, Guy. I also get to work with a lot of other cool volunteers, like Alan in Florida. Hey, Florida. Yo, over here. Hi, Guy. Hi, Guy. Coming through with another ale bale here. This guy's my boss, Kevin Campbell.
Been working in the beer tent for coming on to 6 years as a volunteer. You get nice and messy with all the beer cups and pouring of the beer and changing of the kegs, and but generally I have a super time and take a working holiday all the time for it and work the whole week through.
Kevin's right. Volunteering requires a lot of work. We're going to be serving 10,000 beers this week. Hey, Estelle, how are you?
Hi, Guy.
Volunteering also requires a lot of teamwork. And you got to act fast, especially those volunteer runners at the Hospitality Center. Here's a demonstration with one of the fastest volunteer runners of them all, Jesse Knudsen.
Hospo, this is Kevin at the beer tent. I need to draw up right away. Over and out.
Read you loud and clear, Hospo. I'm on my way. Here you go, Kev.
Hey, Jesse. Have a good time.
No problem. I'm 16 years old. I love the Fringe Festival. This is my 4th year as a volunteer. I come back every year because of all the wonderful people I meet and all the great shows.
And they're all free. Volunteers get to see one free show for every shift we work. Here's a play I want to see. How do you know when you're done? With my CBC buddy, Dean Jenkinson. Hey, Dean. Don't you remember me? You're, Kai from 24 Hours.
Oh, yeah, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, can I come see your show?
No, I think for you, Kai, we're sold out. I'm sorry.
Oh, are you sure?
Check us out later.
Dean, no, wait a second. No,
we can't.
but
We're off.
this is really what I want to... Dean!
Well, Kai, I think it really does look like you're up for the task of volunteer, though. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Virlin. And I'm having a great time this week, and I just want to let all the viewers know that you should definitely drop by the Fringe Fest, and I have one more shift left as a volunteer. It's this Sunday from 3 to 7 at the patio across from the main stage at the Old Market Square. So come by and say hi, and if you have ideas for Get Off the Couch, then you can let me know then.
Well, thanks a lot, Kai. I'll try to get out there on Sunday.
Yeah, you should. Thanks a lot, Virlin.
Have fun. Mike, I don't know, have you...
Welcome to the 6 o'clock scene. I'm David J. Roberts. Happy Friday to you. Hope you have plenty of stuff to do tonight. If you don't worry about it. We have a few ideas for you. In case you hadn't heard, there's something rather unique going on at the Fringe tonight. They're running plays for 24 hours. Now, until now, plays have stopped at midnight. They started at noon during the day, stopped at midnight. But today, the plays started at noon, and they're going straight to noon tomorrow. Now, if you can't sleep tonight, you're looking for something to do, check it out. It's happening at Venue 10 at the corner of McDermott and Arthur. You can get 7 shows, and they start at 1 a.m. and they go until about 10:15 a.m. tomorrow morning, and get a pancake breakfast after that. Now, that'll all cost you $25, a little low price. Or you can go and check individual shows for about $8. Call 94-FRINGE for some details on that one. Now, tonight is the big kickoff of World Beat. And welcome back to your Friday night scene. I'm David J. Roberts. And all week long, we've enjoyed the company of Fringe performers. Well, tonight is no different. We have Spontaneously Combustible, and they're going to try and light the place on fire or something. I don't know. Take it away, guys. I am very impressed. This is a heck of a hobby, you guys. And you all seem to have your original body hair, which is good. And we almost lost you. I was like 3 seconds away from calling 911 there. Your hands lit up. This is Spontaneously Combustible, guys. And we're going to let you guys go real soon because you have a show going on down at Old Market Square. But give a little plug. You guys are doing shows over the course of the weekend. So when and where are they happening?
Every day at 11 o'clock in Old Market Square.
All right.
And tomorrow night at 10 p.m. at Pantages at Market and Main Street.
Outstanding. Well, thank you guys. You're a lot of fun at parties, let me tell you. Go have a good show, and folks, if you want to go check these guys out, Old Market Square in just like about 10 minutes, all right? Thanks, guys. Well, the time is almost here for the big Fringe event. If you've been fringing all week long, you know that the shows end at midnight, except tonight. The Fringe is going straight through until dawn today, making a 24-hour Fringe. And we caught up with some of the actors at a coffee shop preparing for the long, long night.
How many cups of coffee have you had today? This is first. This is my breakfast, and it's my first coffee. Other than that, I've had an orange juice. I'm raring to go.
We're getting going on the coffee early this morning. We're priming for our noon kickoff of the 24-hour Fringe. We can't get enough of this into our systems today, I don't think.
It's a great show. Isn't it a great show, everybody? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a...
Hey, get that AK out of here. Just...
All I had there was tongue and drunk.
The wind-up celebration started just over an hour ago. The organizers say this year was another record breaker. They're confident they even beat last year's record attendance of 42,000. Theater enthusiasts who missed some of the best-rated shows this year can take heart. The Fringe Holdover Festival will begin shortly after this main event ends. Well, another event is coming to a close this evening. The World Beat Music Festival is wrapping up tonight at the Fort.
Fringe Festival is getting a standing ovation tonight for closing the curtain on another record-setting season. The 10-day Fringe-a-thon, which features performance artists from around the world, has attracted the biggest crowd in the festival's history. This summer, over 43,000 Fringe-goers fanned out across the city, sampling indoor shows from 35 venues. Organizers say the warm weather and a more diverse lineup of talent helped attract a record-setting crowd that earned the Fringe an estimated $250,000.
Well, this is going to be a record year, it looks like. We've got over 90,000 people in total coming, 44 of them to the indoor shows, and that's a record number as well. So it's very exciting. It's a good year.
A bowling ball, a blade, and a cabbage. He's getting set for supper, and you should too, and then come on down and check out the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, the 11th annual, here in the Old Market Square, and I'll be back with full weather details to tell you what your weekend is going to be like in just a couple of minutes. What you've got here is Robin, and Robin has been juggling and balancing virtually everything, but kids, he is a professional. Don't try that trick at home. It's the outdoor stage here in Old Market Square. It's a free outdoor stage, but like I say, he is a professional. So pass the hat, throw a couple of loonies in for Robin or any of the other great acts here, and by all means, check out a show. You won't be boiling hot in any of the makeshift theaters because the weather's been cooperating. Now, I'm a little bit overdressed for the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, but that's okay because literally it is come as you are. So we do urge you to come and check out a show here at the Fringe Festival. We're looking at record attendance, and the weather's going to cooperate again tonight. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight and where, but be careful though. Volunteerism is in full swing. Audience participation here in the Old Market Square, but check out a show, come as you are. Lisa Best is back from Los Angeles, and she's got nightlife for you now.
She is back with a... Is it a fever pitch in downtown Winnipeg? Over 23,000 tickets have already been sold. Organizers are ecstatic, performers are crossing their fingers, and all fans are wondering is, what do I see next?
What would you recommend? It's the most common question heard here at the Fringe Festival, and word of mouth runs rampant.
Don't suppose you have any advice on some of these?
There seems to be more sleepers this year. A week into the theatrical melee, attendance numbers are up 5%.
There's a lot broader range of hits this year. There aren't those 3 or 4 shows that everybody's going to see. There are dozens of shows that are doing really, really well. And the good news is that there's fewer sellouts overall, so people aren't being disappointed at the door. They're able to show up pretty much last minute and often get tickets for shows still.
I've been to 2 shows. I've seen A Midsummer's Night's Fever, which is an excellent show. My daughter is performing in it. And I've been to Flowers for Algernon, and I really enjoyed both of them.
Edith Piaf and the Black Cat Cabaret at the Chinese Cultural Center. It was excellent. Yeah. Lots of music? I like music. I love music.
It's about a photographer who's
on a search for the perfect model, and he finds her, but turns out she's a member of the church. She's a nun. And part of the new project that he's working on is entails the model posing nude. And so that's the dilemma. And
Is it funny?
Yeah.
And it's the model's habit?
Yeah.
We saw Angels in Death's Kitchen. It was funny. And it's playing on the old Millennium Armageddon theme.
I saw the play Greeks, and it's a retelling of the Oedipus play set in 1980s England. What I liked about it is how cleverly it was staged, and the acting was phenomenal. And the story was really, really interesting. They managed to adapt a very old play and bring it into a modern context quite cleverly.
You want to have some fun, this is called a lecture. She wrote this and performs it, and it's a little audience participation, and she gives a lecture on how to feel good, but it's hilarious.
Good luck, I hope that helps. Corey.
Hi there, I'm Kai Hasselrees. And I'm Jesse Knutson. We're not Enright and Dirks, but we are here at the Fringe Festival, and we're having a great time. We're volunteering. And I'm going to tell you all about it tomorrow night on the next installment of Get Off the Couch.
The Winnipeg Fringe Festival concluded last night with another record-setting run. More than 45,000 theater-goers went to see a show in this year's Fringe Festival. That's a 7% increase over last year's attendance. The festival's artistic director attributes this year's success to higher quality theater and more variety.
People are realizing that at the Fringe, there's not just the avant-garde stuff that might not be to their taste, but there's something for everyone. There's musicals or dramas or classical work or contemporary work. So I think people are being a little bit less spooked about it, and they realize that if they get a program and they read it carefully and they see the reviews, they can make educated choices, and they're coming out then in greater numbers.
The Fringe Festival also had almost 40,000 people watching outdoor shows, pushing total attendance up to 94,000.